Hello people, I'm the Real Comic Book Gamer, and today I'm going to be ranking my pull list. This is a video I want to do for a while now, and I finally got the time to do it, so I figured this would be fun. Just talk about what I think are the best comics out right now, and rank the comics that are on my pull list, and also get input from you guys on what comics you think I should add, and give you guys suggestions on what I think you should have if you don't have it on your pull list. This should be fun. So, sort of light spoilers for any book when you see me bring it up. If you don't want to know anything, then there's your spoiler warning, but I'm not really going to be spoiling a whole lot. At least I'll try my best not to. Anyways, I have 11 books on my pull list. 3 of them I won't be ranking because it's not fair. So those 3 are Heroes in Crisis, Punisher, and Nightwing. The reason I'm not ranking those is Heroes in Crisis is 1 issue in, and it was a very big shock value issue, so I don't want to be super reactionary and just be like, oh, well, I'm going to rank this bottom because the issue was boring and stupid stuff happened. I want to kind of wait a little bit before I get into it. I don't feel proper ranking it yet. Nightwing is changing creative teams right now, so there's no point to really ranking it, and it just went through a huge thing to where we're going into the Amnesia arc, so can't properly rank that. But if I was ranking it prior to the Amnesia arc, it would be my favorite DC book. So it was really good. Benjamin Piercy was killing it on there, but now with this, I can't really rank it. And then the other one is Punisher, because Punisher is only 2 issues in. I've only read the first issue. I really enjoy it. It is on my pull list. But when the second issue came out, Diamond sent my comic shop a bunch of damaged copies, so he's waiting for the new copies to come in, the undamaged one. So I haven't been able to read issue number 2 yet, so that's why I'm not ranking Punisher yet either. So basically, they're all either going through creative changes or are new series, so I can't really properly rank them yet. But the ones I'm going to be ranking, I'm going to be going from best to worst. So my favorite comic on my pull list right now is Old Man Hawkeye. It is great. This is a series that shouldn't be very good because it sounds like just a cash in on the Old Man Logan name, which we've gotten some of those before. And now this is actually a legitimately really good series. So if you read Old Man Logan, you know Hawkeye played a pretty good part in that before he got murdered. Well, this is the prequel to Old Man Logan, showing you what happened with Hawkeye prior to that and how he experienced the whole event of, an Old Man Logan where all the villains teamed up on everyone, on all the heroes, and just killed them all. You're seeing what happened to Hawkeye and how he survived, and he went through some gruesome stuff. I don't want to spoil too much of it because I think it is the best book out right now, and it's solid, and it's a fun book. It's a really interesting story, and it's been great. And the art is done by Marco Cicchetto, who's a guy that's been on a lot of covers and been on some interiors. The last book I read with him was the Obi-Wan Anakin book, that miniseries, which again, he's great in that, and he's amazing in this, and he really brings the world to life. And it's Hawkeye. So basically, there's people that I won't reveal who's behind it in this, but there's people that are trying to killed Hawkeye's team, basically, that he was with during the whole supervillain invasion. When the supervillains killed all the heroes, Hawkeye was with a certain team of people. They all died except for Hawkeye, and certain people took them out. A certain team took Hawkeye's team out. So he's on a revenge quest to kill all of them. And he's like, each issue, he's been like killing all of them. It's really cool. It's something that's awesome about Elseworld stories. The fact that if this was a non-Elseworld story, we wouldn't be able to kill any of these people because it's like, oh, nope, not allowed to do that. But because it's Elseworlds, he can do it. And so that's really cool. And on his journey, he's also got someone hunting him. It's revealed in like the second issue, I think. It's Bullseye, so that's not really a spoiler. We're 9 issues in, and Bullseye is such a badass in this. This is one of my favorite versions of Bullseye. He's so cool, and a lot of other interesting things happen in it. So definitely, if you have not checked out Old Man Logan, at least buy the first issue and see if it's something that intrigues you. I love it, and it's my favorite book out right now. Next up is Doomsday Clock. Now, while Doomsday Clock only comes out every other month, which really sucks, and a lot of people, myself included, complain about the fact that we forget what happened in the issue before, if you are keeping up with it, it's legitimately really good, and Jeff Johns has a way of intriguing me each issue with what's going on. This latest issue, a lot of stuff happened. We finally got to see some of Dr. Manhattan, which was cool, and again, I don't want to spoil too much, especially with a series like this. I know there's probably a lot of people waiting for trade because it's a struggle trying to go every other month with this book, but at the same time, I don't have the patience to wait for trade because the book's not going to finish for a while, and then after it finishes, it takes a while to go to trade, so I can't do it. But every time an issue comes out, it is worth the wait. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank are my favorite creative team ever, and they're doing good here, and what they teased in the last issue with Superman is interesting because Superman's my favorite character, so I want to see how that all goes down. Just each issue is very interesting. There's not much else I can say without spoiling stuff, but seeing these characters go through the world and go into the DC universe, the Watchmen DC characters, collide is cool, and these interactions and seeing Joker interact with some of these people also is great, and Gary Frank's Joker is just amazing, A+. And yeah, it's so intriguing. Every time it comes out, I'm like, yes, it's pretty much instantly the first book I read when I go to pick up my pull, and Doomsday Clock is there. I'm on it, and I can't wait. I just wish it came out more regularly. Next up is a series that's been getting better and better in my opinion, and that's Darth Vader by Charles Soule. This series started out pretty good, but nothing that special, and has been getting better and better and better and better. Charles Soule just understands Vader better with each issue. Each issue he writes him even better than the last. He's been doing so good lately. Sadly, I believe it's ending on issue number 25. I know it's ending pretty soon, which sucks, but Charles Soule's still going to write some Star Wars stuff. He said after that he's not done with the Star Wars universe, but his Darth Vader has been great so far. It's definitely something you should hop on if you're a Star Wars fan, if you lost all hope, if you're mad about what Disney's doing and the new TV show and stuff, and you're just kind of out of luck with Star Wars. Check out Charles Soule's Darth Vader run. Currently, we're seeing what happened with how he got his castle on Mustafar, which we saw in Rogue One, where Krennic first visited him. We're getting that arc right now. We're seeing how that all happened. It's really interesting. It involves an old Sith Lord possessing someone through a helmet and killing people. And so that's very interesting. The best issue by far was, I can't remember the issue number, I want to say like 16 or 17, something like that, around there, was an issue involving Tarkin where he's hunting Vader, and I don't want to reveal too much from the issue, but you see why those two have a mutual respect for each other, and the issue was just superb and by far the best issue in the series. And the rest of the series has been solid as well. There's not really much that I'd say has been bad in the series. Again, the beginning, good, but nothing special, and then it gets better and better, and it's been just superb lately, and it definitely wouldn't have been this high up a couple months ago, but Charles Soule has been getting so good with it. And next up is the Sentry. Sentry is not a character I've ever been a fan of at all, but Jeff Lemire was put on the book, so I'm like, I'll buy it because I'm a big Jeff Lemire fanboy, even though he's a complete idiot on Twitter and says a lot of dumb stuff. I just choose to ignore him on Twitter and read his good stories because he is a really great writer. And so with Sentry, that stays true. He does a great job with Sentry. He's writing a really interesting story with a character I know nothing about. The most I know about Sentry is from World War Hulk, so that's pretty much nothing. I don't really know a whole lot about the character. So going in this, he delves deep into the lore. There's some stuff that I'm a little confused on, but you kind of just pick things up and go with it. And it's a really interesting story where Sentry has this other side of him that will take over if like he's left alone too long, or like if he stays on one side, because it's interesting. But anyways, there's this world, like, and this mini thing that was made for him, and then there's the real world, and in that world is where like the Sentry is sort of contained, because the Sentry is like a thing that takes over the main character, which is Bob. And again, this is me, not a fan, not someone that knows anything about Sentry, trying to explain the series. So anyways, he's he has to go into that world where the Sentry is to like be the Sentry every like 24 hours or whatever, and then come back to our world and then go back to keep both worlds happy. Otherwise they'll like collide, and the Sentry will come back, and the Sentry will just cause bad things to happen. So he has to do that to maintain that. But of course, bad things happen, so he's not able to go back to that world, and other people invade that world and cause bad things. And it's just, I'm doing a terrible job explaining it. Again, I'm not someone that knows a whole lot about Sentry, so I'm not very good at explaining it, but take my word for it when I say it is a really good series, and it's just been getting better and better, and I'm really happy with how it's been going. For considering I know nothing about the character, I've been really enjoying this series and how it's played out, and seeing how the main character doesn't really have a whole lot of choice in it all. You feel kind of bad for him, and everyone just treats him like a menace because the Sentry is in him. And just each issue has also ended with like a good cliffhanger where it's like, oh, I can't wait for the next issue, and Jeff Lemire just does a fantastic job here. Then we've got Justice League. This is written by Scott Snyder, and then we have James, however you pronounce his last name, I don't know how to pronounce it, that guy. He does every, I don't know, like 5 issues or something. He'll do an issue of the bad guy side, so then you have the Justice League, and you got the bad guys, and he does the bad guy's perspective. So yeah, that's interesting, but I'm really enjoying Justice League. It's a good series. It's a good team book, which lately I feel like we've had a lack of good team books. You know, back in the day, you used to have like New Teen Titans and X-Men and like good team books, good solid team books. And lately, there just haven't been a whole lot of good one of those. There's been great comics, but not that many great team books, to where this has been pretty good, and I'm excited about it. It's probably the best Justice League has been in a long time. I think Scott Snyder definitely has a story here. He wants to tell with totality and everything. I love his Lex also, seeing his Lex being more expanded upon, because in the Superman Unchained series that he did, I was very disappointed with that series. It was pretty mediocre. It wasn't that great. It wasn't terrible, but there wasn't anything that great in it. But his Lex was really interesting. We just didn't get a whole lot of his Lex. So seeing more of Scott Snyder's Lex in this is good. I'm happy about that, and I like the way he writes Lex Luthor, and he's incorporating the Batman Who Laughs from his Metal run into it, which I didn't read Metal, so I'm learning more about that character, because Metal, there was just too much crap. I was just like, okay, if I really care about it, I'll pick it up and trade, but there's just too many issues and spinoffs and stuff, and I'm just like, just too much for me, and I just decided to ignore Metal, but now it's coming to bite me in the back a little bit. But still, Justice League's been really good. You're getting more of some characters that have been left behind a bit, like Hawkgirl and Martian Manhunter. There's a new element to the Speed Force called the Still Force. There's a new ring in here also that Sinestro sort of uncovered forever ago and like kept hidden, and then he brings it back here. Also, another character that's been left behind a little bit, Sinestro, so seeing him back's cool. And yeah, Cheetah also kills a god in this, so that was interesting. I won't say which god, but yeah, that's cool. And Lex Luthor like seems to be getting more and more powerful. Also, a big guy dies in the, I believe it was the first issue. So again, I won't say who died in that first issue, but it was pretty interesting who died there also. So yeah, it's just been good and stuff's been happening. I'm excited with the build up. Now these last three are the three I would say you don't really need to add to your pull list. All the other ones, I would say if you're interested in those books, go add them to your pull list. They're good, they're worth it, you won't be wasting your money. But these last three are, they're not necessarily worth it. So we got Superman, which I'm kind of iffy on Bendis' Superman. He does some good stuff and he does some bad stuff. There's a lot of Bendis in here in terms of it's that MCU type humor that Bendis made his own brand, and it fits sometimes, but then other times there's just things that'll be said that don't match the character. Like some stuff happened with Batman that just did not match Batman whatsoever. Actually, that was an Action Comics, not Superman, but still it's Bendis' Superman anyways. And just, yeah, there's some things that you're like, that is totally Bendis talking and not the character. That happens a lot because he really likes to throw his Bendis style humor in here, and it kind of, sometimes it's funny and then other times it's just cringy. And in Superman, he's been building up to something, and the next issue we'll find out how good that build up is, because right now it's just been a lot of build up, and it's been not bad. It's not been terrible in Superman, I'll say. In Action Comics, that's something I'll get into in a bit. But in Superman, it's been all right. It's not terrible. It's not near as good as Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason's run, which was just amazing and my favorite book in Rebirth and was just my favorite book overall, and I was so excited to pick up. This book, I'm not super excited to pick up when I go to my comic shop. I'm not like, yeah, new issue of Superman, which sucks because Superman's my favorite character in all fiction, and going into my comic shop just being like, I'm not too excited. Hopefully it's good. Hopefully it's not terrible. And then what he's doing with Lois and John is, I don't know, we don't really know yet. Like, Lois is back because what happened in the beginning was Superman's dad, Jor-El, Dr. Manhattan pulled him out and he didn't die. That was a whole Dan Jurgens story arc in Action Comics. But anyways, he comes back again. And he's like, hey, I have stuff to show John. He needs to grow up and be a man or whatever. And so Superman and Lois are like, oh, no, don't do that. And then they do. And so Lois goes with John and Clark stays back at the Daily Planet and on Earth and protecting because he's Superman, so he can't leave. And so John and Lois go with Jor-El. And so Superman's there the whole time, and he's got a way to communicate them, but then he gets in a fight, and the whole thing gets destroyed, so he can't communicate them. He's like, oh no, what's going on? Then Lois is secretly back. She's been back for a little bit. She didn't tell Superman, so it's like, why didn't she tell Superman? What's going on with that? John's not back yet, so everyone's like, oh no, what's going on with John? Bendis said he'll be back, I believe, in issue number 6 or something like that, so we'll find out what's going on with John soon. And then Lois, we don't know what's going on with her. We don't know why. Lex Luthor just show up in the last issue, like at her apartment, so we don't know what's going on with that. I don't think Bendis is going to break the two of them up like a lot of people do. If he does, screw you, Bendis, but I don't think he's going to do that. I hope he's smart enough not to do that. That would just be so stupid. That was one of the best things about the end of the New 52 and the beginning of Rebirth, was we got pre-New 52 Clark and Lois back. It wasn't this stupid Superman Wonder Woman stuff, so I really hope he doesn't break them up. If he does, that is just beyond stupid. But anyways, again, Superman's been all right. There's been more focus on Ra's al Ghul also, which is Bendis' villain that he really wants to be a classic villain, but just sucks so far. We'll see. This arc will make or break Ra's al Ghul, and yeah, it hasn't been terrible. It's been like very average, this Superman book, in my opinion. Next up, we got Deathstroke, which just came off one of the most disappointing story arcs I've ever read, which was Batman vs. Deathstroke. There's no reason for that story arc to happen. It is pointless and just not there's no reason for it to exist other than Batman versus Deathstroke will sell. Let's do that. I thought Christopher Priest would have a story to tell with that. Turns out he didn't. There's no point in that. Just nothing. Unless he really wanted to tell a story about how much Bruce loves Damian, I guess. In that case, why do that in a Deathstroke book? That doesn't make any damn sense. But yeah, that story arc was terrible. Prior to that, the book was like above average. And then that happened. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'll probably make a video on it because Deathstroke is one of my favorite comic characters. That's actually what sucks, is the fact that some of the worst books right now are Superman and Deathstroke, and Superman and Deathstroke are my top 2 favorite comic book characters, so it kind of stings. But yeah, we're on a new story arc where Deathstroke's in Arkham, which is the first issue, already came out, and I read it, and it was okay, but nothing worth reading. Hopefully it gets better from here. We'll see how he does. Priest, I've been very iffy on his Deathstroke run. I always feel like he's a great writer that would do good with original characters, but when you have characters that are a certain way and act a certain way, they don't mesh well with Priest, because Priest wants to do his own thing, which is fine. Just do that with your own characters instead of pre-existing characters. That's my problem with Priest, but I think he is a really good storyteller for the most part. Just this Batman versus Deathstroke thing was just so lackluster and pointless. So next, the last book on my pull list is Action Comics. This is a snooze fest and very boring. Nothing interesting happens. You have this one lady from the Daily Planet that just goes around doing things, and you don't care about her, but Bendis wants you to care about her because she's a new character that he created. Bendis has done decent with Superman. He's not terrible, but he's brought in these new characters that you don't care about. You care about the pre-existing characters, these characters he's created. No one cares about, which sucks, which is why you see a lot of the times they don't create their own new characters. They take pre-existing ones and tweak them because they know you won't care about their new characters a lot of time. It's hard. It's really hard to make a new character and have someone care about them. That shows a great writer if you can do that. But Bendis has not been doing that. He's just been throwing in characters no one cares about, like Rogozar and this new chick that I can't even remember her name because she's so forgetful and just if Rogozar didn't have such a god-awful name, I probably wouldn't remember his name either. But yeah, the book's just been meh. It's not very interesting. Hopefully it gets better, which sucks because Dan Jurgens was so great on it. Like we as Superman fans had such like a new golden age for Superman with Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason on Superman and Dan Jurgens on Action Comics. That was such a good time, and now we're to Bendis on both books. So it's like, But yeah, that's how I rank my pull list. I'm probably going to be adding Super Sons, the maxi series right now from Peter J. Tomasi to it because I read the first issue, absolutely loved it. Just picked up the third issue. Haven't read it yet because the second issue I missed because, again, I don't have it on my pull list, so it was sold out and I didn't get the issue. I'll probably pick it up and then read issue 2 and 3 and then probably add it to my pull list. But besides that, what would your guys' suggestions be for me to add to my pull list? Because I'm looking for some other books. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys got some good insight into these comics and maybe pick some of them up. That'd be cool, especially Old Man Hawkeye. That's one that no one's trying out that I've seen a lot of, but you should definitely check out. It's so good. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.
Legends never die, we've been going every night. I've been feeling way too blessed, but with Lex I'm never stressed. They don't know just what we do, we've been out here with the crew. They don't know just how we live, think we got too much to give.